for all, especially in the circle. Just a nod to the freshman to get this start tonight.
And the lefty comes home. First pitch swinging from Ulrich. One pitch and one out as Green makes the play in left. Well, the Thundering Herd offensively near the top in the Sun Belt in their second year in the conference. And Ulrich, who just popped out to left, fifth best batting average in the Sun Belt.
You know, she's leading that team with 57 hits, 10 home runs, 42 RBIs. It's nice to have a table setter like that, even though she just popped out to start the game.
And now Gerlach, the sophomore, on the ground is short. Rose with a nice play on a short hop, and there's quickly two down.
Quick and efficient, just like Coach Demore drew it up, right?
Well, and as much as we talk about the home run ball, the fielding percentage for this Tech defense has been terrific this season all year long.
They really have. There were some impressive plays last weekend up the middle with Rose and with Fagan at second base. Just the top 10 highlights, trouble play turning. It's really fun to watch them.
And now Bob Ferenga, who will start in the circle for Marshall, ahead in the count 2-0.
I love to see a pitcher that comes in and can hit too. It's just a different mindset, being able to see what the strike zone's like, especially when you get to be at the plate before you go into the circle.
And Mazzarone finds the zone. Hokies, so many options, as I mentioned a moment ago, they can turn to. Lemley was fantastic last night against Virginia. Mazzarone, she's pitched at a high level all season in her rookie campaign. That's on the ground to Fagan. How about a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Hokies in the top of the first? They come to bat. And it's Emma Ritter leading things off for Virginia Tech. Entered this week, leading the ACC in batting average, runs scored, hits, and stolen bases. I'd say that's a pretty impressive stat line.
It's not too shabby, is it?
The senior from Perryville, Maryland.
I think one thing that impresses me the most about Emma Ritter with all of these great highlights and statistics, though, is how hard she is to strike out.
That was early in her career, too, as a freshman and sophomore. Teams have just never quite been able to retire her that easily. Right side of the infield. Ulrich unable to make the play.
That's what makes Emma Ritter so good. She just hits one off the end of a bat and still beats it out.
And there you see the starting lineup for Virginia Tech. All eyes on a lot of players here, Whit, but Michelle Chatfield, 19 home runs, one away from the single-season program record.
Oh, and she's just a freshman, right? It is hard to find a player that is having a better season, maybe even just month, but overall season, than Chatfield.
Tech with so many new freshmen on this roster. Green offers and pulls back. Senior from Suffolk having an outstanding season. Last year hit .305. This year, .429.
Unheard of.
And she's in front 3-0.
You know, we talked about the home runs, but you and I were having a conversation before the game even started about how it's even more impressive the amount of walks and pitches that they're taking, that they're seeing, drawing these counts, 2-1 already. Deep counts, a lot of walks. You don't really see that very much. Home runs to walk ratio being that high and comparable to each other.
And that is low and in And the Hokies early putting pressure on the Thundering Herd.
One thing I love about this offense is that, we haven't seen a home run yet, right? They've had 102 under their belt. We've seen an infield hit, and we've seen a walk already. So it's kind of like they tick, tick, tick bomb, right? Like they're going to kill you with 1,000 cuts, essentially, and then they're just going to come up and have the big one, too.
And now Chatfield. Entered this week the most home runs in the ACC. 4th in the nation, the most by a freshman. And in a tie for the most home runs hit in a single season in Tech history with Caitlin Nolan.
It's not too shabby of a person to have a tie with, right?
Off speed high. You certainly have the scouting report, I'm sure, if you're Faringa, and being very selective about how you pitch to her.
Yes, if there's one person on this roster that I'm really going to try to stay away from, it's probably going to be number 4.
And just as we were talking about Virginia Tech's plate discipline, Chatfield's drawn 26 walks this season. Flown to shallow left. That's down. Lewis, the green light on for Ritter. And the Hokies have the early 1-0 lead thanks to the freshman superstar Michelle Chatfield.
Again, just coming through. It's a single, a walk, and another single, and we're already got a run on the board. It just happens that quickly, and there's still no outs.
And now Corey McMillan. You look up and down this Tech lineup, the batting averages, it is amazing. And last night, hitting the home run that set the single season program record. Tech has hit 102 coming into today.
With a month left of season.
Only April 24th.
It's impressive, too, with the schedule that they played, the top 25 opponents, leading all of Power 5 with home runs.
That's well hit into left. Washington can't come up with it. Here comes Green, and she'll score.
And we still haven't seen an extra base hit yet. It's all singles.
You take another look. Outer part of the plate. And Washington had to move pretty far to the track. That just misses inside. So if you're just joining us, it all started with Ritter reaching on an error. I think this just goes to show, Whit, Tech can hurt you in a lot of different ways offensively.
That makes them a hard team to prepare for because you expect the long ball, right? And we haven't even seen one yet, and it's already 2-0 in the first inning with no outs. No extra base hits, nothing. They're seeing the ball well, though, and they are really an unselfish team at the plate because they're just taking what they see and pass the bat. And that's all that you can ask for.
Faringa, the junior out of Glendale, Arizona, long ways from home. And this is flown to center. Parks makes the grab, and there's the first out of the inning.
Your head coach.
Especially offensively. And a Marshall team last year that was oh so close to its third NCAA tournament appearance, lost to Louisiana Lafayette in the Sun Belt title game. That was a 40-plus win season, 45-10. They won 23 in a row at one point. This goes to show how hard it is to make the NCAA tournaments.
It is. 23 in a row is an impressive stat no matter who you're playing.
Cameron Fagan, what a difference maker she's been from the minute she stepped foot on campus for this Hokie program.
Absolutely. I mean, she was a starter day one. It was going to be a no-doubter that she was going to be out there. Long history in the family, though, of having great athletes, so that's not a shocker there.
Casey, Sammy, Haley.
Oh, and a Super Bowl dad, right?
That's off the plate, a 5-pitch walk drawn. That'll load the bases. Again, a Tech team that has won 10 in a row coming in, playing some of its best softball. Huge win last night against Virginia here at home. And here's someone who's really come along offensively in Kylie Aldridge.
She has. I mean, if you look at this lineup, just all up and down the starters tonight, everyone's hitting over 300. That's so impressive across the board. And again, I think that shows Pete Demore's style and just the discipline of this offense at the plate. Just take the bat and pass it, right? Not try to do too much. Take what they give you, and whether that's a single, whether that's a walk, you know, maybe it's your turn to hit the bomb, right, with 102 already. But it's a great offense top to bottom.
Over this 10-game winning streak for Tech, Aldridge has driven in 11 runs. And she's in front 3-0.
She is certainly coming through right at the right time.
Faringa needs a strike and gets it. But a dangerous spot when these Hokie hitters get out in front of counts.
Absolutely. I mean, the more pitches they see, the more that they're seeing what she's got, right? We saw that from very first batter.
Bickle to Ulrich, relay, not in time. Here comes another runner. Left hand gets in first from Corey McMillan.
Mark that down as a momentum changer. You know, Marshall thought they were out of the inning, and then all of a sudden they end up scoring an extra run there that probably shouldn't have been scored. I love the aggressive base running that we've seen from the Hokies this year, no matter who it is.
And it sets up Trinity Martin, a 4-0 lead. And 2 runs in there for Virginia Tech. If you're just joining us, no extra base hits. A Tech taking what Marshall has given them early. Martin, the sophomore who homered last night, has gone yard in 2 of the last 3. And so many options for Pete Demore to put in the lineup. But we're swinging a hot bat like that, easy to find the lineup.
Yes, 100%. You know, that at bat where she hit the home run, it was 11 pitches. Again, it's just taking what they're giving you, not being too aggressive. You know, you see somebody getting up there, it's already 4-0, you know, seeing some good pitches, and it's easy to get up there and swing at bad pitches, but they are all disciplined at the plate, every single one of them so far tonight.
Flown to shallow right center. That gets away from Parks, and that allows Aldridge to take an extra base.
For Pete Demore's staff or roster as a whole, I think it's right now is not letting off the gas, right? It's taking those advantage of those extra bases, a ball that's bobbled in the outfield, probably not somebody that typically is going to steal a base. Overall, you know, she's not your Emma Ritter that has, you know, the double digits in stolen bases, but still every single person on the roster is being aggressive.
And Annika Rose has been aggressive as of late, the freshman. 2-run single to get the scoring started last night against UVA. Comes from a great softball family. Her mom, Amanda, a Hall of Famer at Robert Morris. This has been a dynamite freshman class for Pete Demore.
He's done his homework for sure, right? He's recruited some great classes. And you have to replace the senior class that's getting ready to go out. And this freshman class as a whole is definitely going to step in to fill some shoes over the next 3-4 years.
Bickle ends the inning. Evan Hughes, Whitney Davis Showalter, our outstanding ACC Network crew with you. Thanks for being with us. Hokies with a 4 spot in the first. And Emma Mazzarone worked a 3-up, 3-down top of the first. Quality batting. Mahalis at the plate.
For Marshall, I think it's very important to have a good inning. Just even just having long at bats, just to give your pitcher a break, get some momentum back.
That's hit hard up the middle. And the first base hit of the night for the Thundering Herd.
She did a really nice job just taking that ball right back up the middle. Didn't try to do too much. You know, when you're down 4-0, it's easy to try to swing for the fence, right, to get back into it. But they just need to take one at bat at a time.
And Riley Lucas. From Mahalis to Lucas in the lineup, both hometowns of Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah, that's something I've admired about Marshall for so long, is that they really look at their homegrown talent to pull them in to their program, and I think that takes a lot of pride for those kids growing up. You know, we talked about youth night here, same thing there.
There's a ton of history in this Marshall softball program. You think back to Shonda Stanton and the job that she did, almost 2 full decades, built Marshall into true mid-major power.
She was impressive. I mean, she still is. She's at Indiana now, but I think she's done such an impressive job. They're putting her in the Hall of Fame this year at Marshall, right? I think it's harder to find a person that loved Marshall University more than Shonda Stanton, and still does, and still comes back to alumni weekends. And I'm sure that that's probably the first number on the speed dial for Morgan Zirkle, right?
And no doubt about that. And a strike into Bickle. You mentioned that number being on speed dial. First-year head coach Morgan Zirkle. I think it's one of the cooler stories that maybe hasn't been talked about enough in college softball this year. 27 years old. Played in a Marshall uniform just a couple of years ago. A great professional career, and now leading her alma mater.
Well, you think about it, most of the women on her team right now watched her as they were growing up. How cool is that you get to have that mentor, somebody that you admired as a player, and now you get to spend every day learning from her?
Has great energy and a true love for Marshall. Watching her introductory press conference, you could just see everyone speaking at the podium. Like, this was a no-brainer. It just felt like for everyone to bring her home and, get some reps herself, set the tone. After the conference, 3-1, shallow right, and that falls in front of McMillan for a bloop single.
That's exactly what Marshall needed to do. You know, there's still a little ways to getting back in this game, but taking their time, having good at-bats, bloop single, great. It still counts in the books, right?
And now to Reagan Glanz, who looks at a strike out of Aberdeen, Washington. Transferred in from Francis Marion, really good Division II school. Opportunity for the Thundering Herd here in the top of the second. And Mazzarone doing a great job of painting that outer edge.
She really is. The transfers here are really going to help Marshall overall with this year, right? We're seeing a large freshman class that they have. And I think in the next year or so, you're really going to see this program taking the leap and really going uphill.
What a beautiful changeup as Mazzarone comes right back with one of the highlights of the night thus far.
Kudos to Kylie Aldridge for holding on to that pitch.
There's nothing better than a well-executed changeup in the game of softball.
It is. It's almost unfair, right?
That's a fair ball, first base side. And Parks able to beat out the play, an infield single to load the bases.
I'm sure Morgan Zirkle told her that too, right? That's exactly what you want from a slapper, to get that high hop. Has to come right back down for them to be able to catch it and throw you out. By that point, you're safe at first.
And now Destiny Washington, that's by Peck at third. One run is in, and another as Bickle slides in. The 9-hole hitter, Destiny Washington, with a 2-out, 2-run single.
It's so impressive. They give up a 4 spot to start out, and it's easy to get down, and all they did was come right back, score 2 runs, and turn over to the top of their lineup to start again.
And here is the most consistent hitter in Marshall's lineup, Brooklyn Ulrich.
If I'm Marshall, this is exactly who I want at the plate in this situation with runners on.
Fourth in the Sun Belt in batting average. Hitting .475 in Sun Belt games. And Mazzarone, 2 inside pitches to level the count at 1.
You know, she does have a base to give up, right? But looking right behind her, it's not too much of a slouch to come up in the 2 spot either.
Ulrich got into a handful of games in 2022, had a knee injury that held her out, but then 48 starts last year. She hit .189 last year, and then this year, .475 in Sun Belt games. Huge jump.
That is a huge jump. That's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra BP when no one's watching.
Mazzarone trying to end the frame. And we've seen the Hokie freshman mix her pitches and also mix her zones very well.
She is. She keeps coming inside to Ulrich. And obviously she's just pulling it, not getting enough of it, not getting around it enough to go right back outside for that ball. But she's mixing both sides of the plate really well with her, keeping her a little bit off balance.
She's thrown 31 pitches and 17 for strikes. Tying run on first. And as you could have imagined, Ulrich not going down easy for Marshall.
She absolutely is not. That's 2 outside pitches in a row. I wouldn't be surprised to see her come back inside or maybe even lead with that changeup in a count like this.
Another payoff. Loads the bases and a big fist bump for Ulrich to her dugout down the first baseline. And that puts the tying run at second.
In scoring position, she did exactly what her team needed to do. It would have been really, really easy for her to swing at a bad pitch, especially in a 3-2 count. And she's done her job and put 2 runners in scoring position and passed the bat.
That's a pretty changeup for a strike. Bella Gerlach with great power. She led the state of Indiana in high school with 22 home runs in her senior year. There's another great changeup. 0-2.
Back-to-back changeups. I like it.
Do you go back to it here?
I don't know that I do in this situation, but it is 0-2. Maybe something a little bit off the plate. Try to get her to go fishing for it.
And Aldridge with a great stop. Bella Gerlach, the 2-hole hitter for Marshall. And that's off the plate, 2-2.
Not bad misses, though. You know, you get her down 0-2, make her try to come after something. Maybe you come back with a changeup here. It had her guessing twice. Maybe it gives her guessing a third time. Or a pop-up. That'd be nice in their case, too.
Tried to go back to it. And credit Gerlach, 0-2 to 3-2.
You know, it wasn't bad for her to take a changeup in the first pitch either. So really, she's seen 3 pitches that she shouldn't have swung at, which is great. And now she's back at a full count, which is where she wanted to be anyway.
The payoff. It hits her. The field. As Marshall has now hit through its lineup. And here's Faringa, the pitcher. Chance to get a couple of runs back here in the second.
It's a nice opportunity as a pitcher. Help your own self out.
That's a good-looking pitch down the middle from Mazzarone, who threw twice this weekend against Georgia Tech, and she gave up just 2 hits in 4 innings. And she's continued to try and go back to that changeup.
She has. She's a little bit rattled right now. You know, obviously when you hit somebody that won't get away from you, that'll rattle you a little bit too. She also have to be very careful in the situation with your 3-4 hole up. She doesn't want to leave too much over the plate.
And that gets by the glove of Fagan. It scores 1 and it scores 2. Ulrich able to score, and Faringa makes it a 5-run second inning for the Thundering Herd.
Love when a pitcher helps themselves out at the plate. Doesn't do too much. Just a single right where she needed it to be, and the 3-4 hold is to score a couple runs.
And Mahalis, who led off this inning with a hard hit ball up the middle, her second at-bat of the inning. For those just joining us, Marshall went 3 up, 3 down offensively in the first.
They've made quite an adjustment in the second inning, and I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is that they're taking pitches. They're making her throw something over the plate. They're not going after the changeup unless they have to, if they're down in the count type thing. Really making her get the ball over the plate and not trying to do too much with it. Just either beating it in the ground if it's a drop ball, taking it back up the middle.
Big swing and miss. And Mazzarone back in front.
For Mazzarone, she knows what she's got offensively, right? So even though she's given up a 5 spot, she knows that they're going to come to the plate.
Easy play for Peck to end the inning. The Thunder lineup once today. Top of the order for Tech, and Emma Ritter once again.
Coming off a 5 spot, who do you want up? The top of your lineup, right? Clear slate, let's start again.
Over towards Bickle, and in shallow left, she makes the play. Now the Hokies, again, riding a 10-game winning streak that started during the middle part of that NC State series. Looked great this weekend against Georgia Tech. A lot of home runs. And there you see the single-season home run leaders. On deck, Michelle Chatfield tied with Caitlin Nolan. A lot of great names on that list.
It's a fabulous list to have. And what better person than Caitlin Nolan for Chatfield to be at as a freshman. Nolan broke it as a senior. Pretty phenomenal to see.
Nolan had a fantastic career, was really big in the early years of the Pete DeMoore era. Emma Strouth, a couple of those upperclassmen instrumental in 2019.
Olivia Lattin, Kinsey Johnson, that class really came in and bought into what Pete DeMoore was selling early on. You know, he got here, took them out to dinner and said, hey, this is what I'm about, this is what I want to build. And they bought in day one and really set the tone for where the program is right now under his era.
Faringa, the 2-1. And Addie Green, who walked in her first at-bat, ahead 3-1. That 2019 team won, I believe, 45-plus games, regional final. And Green walks, base runner aboard for the Hokies, bottom 2. Well, Chatfield got the scoring started on a blooper to shallow left that brought in a run.
Love having Addie be a table setter, draw a walk, set it up for your home run hitter.
Chatfield, also a great two-way player at Woodgrove High School. A cool .8 ERA as a senior last year.
It's not too shabby to still have in your bullpen.
Yeah, exactly.
Although it's not been needed, right?
All the options that Tech's had, some of the best depth of any single Virginia Tech softball team in program history.
Absolutely. You know, I think you can see the generations of softball changing, right? So you saw the era of just the pitchers, and you saw the 1-0 games, and it was all about the pitchers. Now you're seeing all these hitters. I mean, we've already had 9 runs in an inning and a half. So it's almost like you have to pitch by committee and have a bullpen full of pitchers to be ready to go at any time.
Faringa finding the inside corner. Good spot. .53 pitches, only 1 earned run. And now the payoff. Taken for a cold strike 3. A huge backwards K for Bub Faringa.
That's got to feel good after you got your team ahead with a go-ahead single and then come up and strike out the best player. She's starting to get a little momentum back in that Marshall dugout.
Not even official, 2 innings in. As this is well hit, deep left field. How about back-to-back nights? Corey McMillan with a home run.
We just talked about Marshall taking the momentum, and with one swing, that's what the Hokies will do to you, is to take that momentum right back.
For those counting at home, mark it down as team home run number 103.
It's no doubter right off the bat. You knew it was going to be over the fence. And I love that it's an Oppo home run. Last night she really went yard over the scoreboard, and tonight she's going opposite field.
And she was the one that set the team record. And Tech jumps right back in front, 6-5. Now, one thing that Pete DeMoore has talked about, his team, you know, they don't necessarily always talk about home runs. It's more about swinging hard. That's the most important piece.
You know, when Pete first got here, he told his team that he wanted to lead the league in doubles. It wasn't home runs. It was doubles. Because if you hit the doubles, the home runs will come. And they certainly have for his team.
And we talked so much about this Tech lineup. I mean, everyone top to bottom. But Bree Peck, 12 home runs, 49 RBIs, and a 4-pitch, 2-out walk drawn.
She's still hitting 350 on the season. And, you see the Emma Ritter come up, the Michelle Chatfield, the Corey McMillan going yard. It's easy to forget about the Bree Pecks as you get down in the lineup, but top to bottom, this lineup is lethal. You can't sleep on anyone.
Cam Fagan walked her last time up. You brought up an interesting point earlier, the different generations of softball. And when you played in the late 2000s, it was all about the 1-0 games, the pitchers. Was there an offense quite like this 2024 Hokies back in the 08s, the 09, the 10s, in that era of softball, Whitney?
I really don't think so. You had the Angela Tinchers, the Monica Abbotts of the world, the Jelly Seldons from UCLA. It was the pitcher's game, and they were very tight, even in the World Series. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like Oklahoma changed the narrative, right? And then everybody else has kind of followed suit, where it's a hitter's game right now.
Fagan in front 3-1, and I know something the Hokies have loved, having the new technology in the indoor facility. You walk in there, numbers and stats all over the place, really unique.
Technology has really taken this game and grown it.
And consecutive walks drawn by Tech after the 2-run blast from McMillan.
I love how bought in the team is with the technology as well. Pete talks about it all the time, that they're in there constantly. It'll be in the middle of the night, they're in there. It's, early, first thing before he gets there in the morning. I wish that I would have had something like that too, because I probably would have been a hitting junkie at that point as well. And just to have that indoor is invaluable, and just the technology that he's brought, that he's invested in for his hitters, has really paid off for his program.
And how about the assistants that Pete DeMoore has hired? I mean, the bullpen sessions with Tech softball, my goodness, from Mike Lewis to Mamu, I mean, up and down it's amazing.
It's incredible to have that many pitchers on staff as well that can come in, that can throw the pitches harder than anything this team is going to see, better jump than most pitchers are going to have to. As a hitter, that might be frustrating on a day-to-day in BP, but when it comes to game time, it kind of seems like it's easy, right?
And, of course, Josh Johnson, who's done a terrific job in his first year as the pitching coach, coming over from Mississippi State. 2-on and 2-out for Kylie Aldridge after the conference between Zirkle and Faringa and the Marshall infield. It's been a little bit of back and forth here early.
I don't know if that's what we expected, but I love that Marshall really has this fight in them, that they give up a 4 spot. It's kind of like a so what. We can throw up a 5 spot, right?
That finds the outer edge. We've seen a couple of full counts on both sides. Here's another big one, especially for Marshall, a chance for Faringa to get out of this.
Give up minimal damage, and you already have runners in scoring position again.
To the right side of the infield. Ulrich makes the play. And Marshall bends, but they don't. Lindsey Grime, the sophomore, enters into the circle and gets a swing and miss out of the pen.
I like the different look. It's a great time to pull her in. You go from the lefty to the righty. Grind throws hard.
She really does. Has some good rise. Her 22nd appearance of the year. 113 strikeouts to 36 walks.
She stays around the plate. And if you know that she stays around the plate, even though she's throwing hard, you've got to catch up to it.
Made 20 starts as a freshman last year. Pack runs out of real estate. It's Riley Lucas. And if you're just joining us, Virginia Tech jumped out in front 4-0. Hit through its lineup. Then Marshall came right back with 5 runs, top 2. Corey McMillan, 2-run home run for Tech. It's been back and forth. And had some good movement up and in, 2-2.
Did. She provides such a different look than Mazaroon. You know, probably take Marshall an inning. They need to be taking some pitches, trying to make sure they're seeing what she's throwing, telling the next person that's up.
And a strikeout for Grind. First batter that she's faced. And showing a couple of different pitches in that at-bat.
She came up and out a couple times, and then you get ready for that up and out again, and all of a sudden it's at your ankles. Mixing speeds, mixing locations.
And there's an off speed for a strike, doing a great job of painting that outer edge. We were talking a couple of innings ago. For those just joining us, Whitney was making a great point about the different generations of college softball. It used to be low scoring in one pitcher and low scoring games. Now the offense is really starting to come along around the country. Is that slapped to third, scooped up by Peck. Oh, what a play!
It's beautiful, but she made it look so easy. It didn't even look like it was an impressive play because she did it executed so flawlessly.
On a short hop, how about the exchange too? From the glove to the throwing hand.
Coming across, you're one step behind on a slapper anyway, and she just makes it look like with ease throwing off her back foot.
And a swing and miss to glance. But the quick point I was going to say, I wonder if the next generation college softball having 3, 4, 5 different pitchers, different looks, if that's the direction we're going.
It kind of seems that way because everybody's staff seems to be a little bit different, right? You're seeing with this staff, even you've got a couple lefties on there, a couple righties that are throwing hard, throwing up and down, just mixing things up, pitching by committee on any given night. We're already seeing a second pitcher in the third inning. And it works. You're keeping batters a little off kilter. Let him go through the lineup one time, switching a pitcher. It's hard to get your cadence that way.
0-2 from Grind. She strikes her out on a pretty off-speed pitch. Welcome back to beautiful Tech Softball Park. Hokies leading Marshall 6-5. A win last night against Virginia in the Commonwealth Clash. A big record fell last night, the single-season team home run record, and another one falls today. Virginia Tech with 4 RBIs today. The single-season RBI record. Beyond impressive. Just more offensive, eye-popping numbers for the Hokies.
It's like you just feel the momentum building for them. Breaking records, playing their best in April, getting ready for Mayhem.
Mayhem, we talk about March Madness, but I think Mayhem, that word, is officially starting to catch on. There you see 370 RBI, and there's still a handful of games left in the regular season as that is cranked. Right center, forget about it.
That was an absolute no-doubter right off her bat. She's seeing the ball bigger, just as big as anyone right now. coming off a home run last night on 11 pitches. Tonight has done well, exceptionally well, and that ball was just demolished.
And that is her third home run over her last 4 games.
I mean, as soon as it left her bat, you knew it was gone. You know, Evan, they don't get shorted at all on their swings. Every home run just seems to be leaps and bounds over the fence. It's not just ones that's barely getting over.
That one cleared the trees, it looked like, out in right center. And joins McMillan as the other Hokie to go yard today. Here's Rose. And if that doesn't show this Tech team, from no doubter home run to trying to drop down a bunt for a base hit in the next at-bat.
Love it. Anything to get on, to pass the bat. You know, we talked about all the walks that they have, the home runs, you know, breaking RBI records. You don't do that without unselfish softball.
Seven to 5, the new score. Bottom 3. Backhand stop, Mihalis. And a good-looking play across the diamond for the inning's first outs.
They needed that out. You know, now we're coming to the top of the lineup again, though. It just doesn't get easier for Marshall with this Tech team all above 300 coming to the plate.
And if you want more records talk, Emma Ritter 2 runs away from the Virginia Tech softball career runs scored record. That is currently held by Lauren Gaskill, who played from 2012 to 2015.
You know, I love it, too, because they both came through the same travel ball program, same type of area. You know, Ritter watched Gaskill play growing up and really wanted to be a Hokie partly because of her. So I love that little connection there, as that record's meant to be broken, right?
And I'm sure Lauren would be thrilled to see the one who passes that mark. Hard hit ball to short. And a good play from Bickle.
It's a great job by Bickle not letting that ball go up the middle. I mean, that was still a hard hit ball even though it was on the ground. The Hokies really haven't had too many mishit balls tonight.
Addie Green has walked twice tonight. We've talked about her outstanding numbers throughout the broadcast, having a career year. Changeup from Faringa missed. This is at-bat number 135 on the year. She has only struck out 12 times.
It's so impressive. I mean, 2 walks already today. You know, over the weekend, she was coming up big with the home runs for the Hokies, too.
She's also driven in 13 runs over this 10-game winning streak for Pete Demore's squad. That's in the air to left. Washington to the track, and it'll clear.
Addie Green coming through. Again, an opposite field home run. We've seen that twice tonight already from the left-handed hitters. I love that. It's easy to pull a ball out, but Pete Demore's team is so disciplined that they go opposite just as well as they pull the ball.
Her 11th home run of the season. And we take another look.
Again, so patient at the plate. One that you knew off the bat was probably going to get out.
That's 2 solo home runs in the inning. And that's all for Faringa. New arm coming on for Marshall. We'll tell you who it is on the other side. We welcome you back to Tech Softball Park. New arm in for Marshall, Savannah Rice. She and Bub Faringa have been the 1-2 options for the Thundering Herd this year. And Michelle Chatfield at the plate. Hokies have already hit 2 home runs this inning. And once again, as Rice comes in, the senior from Marshall, all Hokies watching the freshman at the plate. In front 3-0. And Chatfield draws a walk on 4 pitches. And this Tech lineup, top to bottom, has gotten it done today from Green, Chatfield, McMillan's gone yard, Martin in the 8-hole. Been consistent 1 through 9.
They have. You know, this is a hard spot for a pitcher to come in with the 3-4 up to bat. Obviously have the most home runs for the team. Staying away from them in general. You've got some bases to give up, right? It's 2 outs. Maybe try to get through Chatfield, McMillan. But then who do you have up? Embry Peck, right? It just never ends with this Hokie squad.
McMillan, an RBI single today, as well as a 2-run home run. Extended her on-base streak to 28 consecutive games. And there's a strike from Rice.
I don't mind that take in that situation. It's 2-0. You just saw a 4-pitch walk. Really make her bring something that you're wanting to hit instead of an opposite outside pitch.
Did she go? Peel to first. She did, says Lakshmi Murthy. The Radford transfer, who has been dynamite this year. Misses outer edge. Good take.
She really has been a spark plug for this team. Seems like anytime there was a lull in the lineup or a couple innings without a run scored, she comes up with a big hit, a home run. Something that really gets that team going again.
The payoff. Hit hard past the second baseman, Ulrich. And taking third, Chatfield.
Again, something so impressive about this Hokies team that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Taking that extra base on a single. That comes up huge in the runs column at the end of the game.
Chatfield took a quick look at the ball in right before she got the second and then wasted no time. Runners on the corners, 2 down for Bree Pack. Already has more RBIs at this point in the season than she did all of last year. And she had 42 of them a year ago.
You talked about the technology earlier, and I think that's been so invaluable for this team. Just being able to go in, hit, being able to see different pitchers, aspects along the way, that's going to help them as they get deeper into postseason.
And Rice able to get out of the jam. Whitney Davis Showalter, glad to have you on your Wednesday night. Hokies have scored the last 4 runs in this game after Marshall took a 5-4 lead. And here is Keisha Parks batting 8th in the lineup. And Whitney in this back and forth game, what does Marshall need to do to see Lindsey grind well for the second inning?
They need a couple of good at-bats from the bottom of their lineup. Somebody needs to get on base, let your table staters do their job, right? Turn it over to the ones that have the experience, your upperclassmen, that really lead the way in your RBIs. I think you have the transfer here that has some experience at the plate. Run deep in the count, see all her pitches. That's really important for her dugout right now, to see everything that she's got, so that way nobody's surprised when they come to the plate.
The Western Kentucky transfer Parks in a shallow left, and Green makes the routine play. And now Destiny Washington, her sister on this Marshall team, as well as her other sister Taylor, a manager. Got to be really cool for the Washington family.
It's very cool. Get to see all your kids all at the same place when they go to college. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, not a lot of extra miles traveled, right? Different schools.
Makes all those trips a little bit easier.
She offers, actually forgot, has another sister, Ashley, who plays at Charlotte, who, I tell you what, the 49ers, what a really good mid-major program that's become over the years.
They are great. I love watching that team play.
Well, Lindsey Grind came in relief last inning for Emma Mazzarone. Retired the 3 hitters she faced. And has really been in command of the strike zone.
She has, you know, it reminds you of how Mazzarone started the first inning, right? Come in, throw a few pitches, throw around the plate, strikes, get out of the inning. It's the same thing that Grind has done here. A little bit more experience, right? Knowing that she needs to stay around the plate.
Right back to her. Fields her position well. 2 gone.
A little PFP, I like it.
And with slap hitters, as you see, Grind, last year started a regional final against Georgia. Some big moments last year. Was great as a freshman, even better as a sophomore.
It's a lot of that extra work we talked about with Coach Johnson coming in, the technology. I mean, that's a considerable difference in her ERA in just a season. You can tell that she just seems like a veteran in the circle this year instead of a freshman.
Ulrich, the leadoff hitter in Marshall's lineup behind 0-2. What a great matchup this is. Grind against one of the Sun Belt's best offensive players, Brooklyn Ulrich.
Really is a great matchup to see to get you ready for postseason too, because you're going to see a lot of hitters with this experience.
And flares that to shallow left. That is the 6th hit of the night for the Thundering Herd.
Nice simple swing, short and sweet to the ball. Allows Grind to power it for her instead of trying to do too much and swing too hard.
Now batting, 0-0, Gerlach.
Lineup turns to Gerlach, and it is terrific to see her back in the game. She was hit, it appeared, in the helmet of her last at-bat.
Right in the temple, you'd never want to see that.
A lot of great history between these two programs. Probably the most significant one coming in the 2013 regional game that went 13 innings.
I think it was 13 innings long. It was a very late night in Kentucky.
Series that started back in '96. Hokies 4-1 at home against Marshall all time. And speaking of home records, 16-0 for the Hokies this year at Tech Softball Park.
It's pretty impressive. I think there's only been one team in Virginia Tech softball history that has done it, and that's the '99 team.
And Grind gets her swinging. A strikeout to end the frame. She's only allowed one base runner through 2 innings. Hokies continue.
Right. It's hard to replace that. But honestly, I love how much that they're helping out this younger freshman class to give them some experience and some knowledge to prepare them for the future.
Fagan has played in nearly every game over the last 4 years. Started off playing short, really found a home at second base.
That whole class really started out day one as freshmen starting in the lineup and really hasn't left.
Has a good balance between the underclassmen, the freshmen, upperclassmen. There you see Emma Ritter. Slow roller to Ulrich. Quick flip in time. Never know on those slow rollers to the right side of the infield.
You do not. Emma Ritter beat one out earlier in the game, so you just never know.
Now batting number 11, Kylie Aldridge.
Hokies riding a 10-game winning streak coming into tonight before they go to Syracuse this weekend. And over this 10-game stretch, entering today, they've combined to outscore its opponents 101-18.
That doesn't even seem like it should be a correct stat. It's almost like, can we replay that? Can we look at that stat again?
And there really is something to be said, Whitney. Playing your best softball, peaking at the right time.
Absolutely. You know, when it comes down to RPI, the selection committee looking to see who's going to be hosting postseason, those type of things, you really want to be playing your best softball towards the end of April.
Savannah Rice in relief for Marshall in the circle. That's high and in. Aldridge goes over and shakes the hand of Jamie Bailey, former great player here at Tech, now on the coaching staff. What a career she had. Who pitched in all 3 games this weekend against Coastal Carolina, the senior, ironically, out of Marshall, North Carolina.
Never even knew there was a Marshall, North Carolina.
I did not either.
Maybe it was very fitting.
Madison High School. Started her career at Western Carolina. She throws the 0-1. That's hit hard and out of the glove of Lucas. And Martin able to reach.
Every ball off the bat tonight has been hit hard. They do not get shorted on any of their swings. Goes down as an error for Lucas, but man, that ball was hit hard.
And Pete Demore out of the third base dugout. Looks like we could see
Maya Luco coming to the plate for the Hokies. Speaking of that senior class.
right on cue. It's like they knew we were just talking about the class.
Absolutely. He's got a little microphone in his ear for us.
Luco has had some big moments this year. Power in her bat.
I think of everyone in the senior class, I've been the most impressed with Maya Luco this season. She's really come in as a role player, worked her way into the starting lineup, and again, just has great at-bats.
Four home runs, and it can be tough sometimes to deliver off the bench in these pinch hit spots. No problems for number 22.
She seems to thrive in that situation.
And one thing evident, she is beloved by her teammates.
She is certainly a fan favorite in that dugout.
Check swing ground ball. That's just to the right of first, a foul ball. That is foul just a little bit, third base side.
But again, seeing a lot of pitches. Off the bench, taking the count deep. That's all you can ask from her.
As that caught by the catcher, Darnley it was. A big strikeout for Savannah Rice.
Luco's asking if it hit the ground, if it was a foul tip.
Line up back to the top with Emma Ritter. From one senior to another. All-American. That might have hit the end of the barrel. It did. You know a thing or two about outfielders in this program. Emma Ritter going to go down as one of the best.
She absolutely is. She's so quick to the ball. It's almost a little unfair seeing her out there. It's like a cheat code in center field, seeing how quick she gets to the ball.
And that sinks in foul ground. "31 pitches, 15 for strikes for Savannah Rice, who's gone an official inning in relief of Marshall starter Bub Faringa. Up the middle, stopped by Bickle. The shortstop flipped to second in time. Takes a run off the... As we move to the fifth, the heart of the lineup due for Marshall and Bub Faringa. 2-run single her last time up. Lindsey Grind has looked good in relief as she has faced 7 batters and retired 6 of them.
She has. She's been very efficient tonight. And she threw a lot this weekend, starting 2 games. Coming in tonight, being efficient with her pitches. I like it.
Right to Peck. And 1 down.
So 3 pitches, 1 out. You can't ask for much more from your starting or for your reliever.
Now what's impressive about this Tech staff too, I mean, so many different arms. They could start, they could come in relief. It really doesn't matter. Pretty interchangeable.
You know, and we've seen a lot recently of them coming in throwing 2 or 3 innings in the middle of the game. Seems like all their arms are on, all hands on deck all the time. Very unselfish in the circle, just like at the plate.
Well, how about this too? As we've talked so much about the home run ball, Tech leading all Power 5 teams in home runs. They're second in the country in team strikeouts from a pitching perspective.
Wow. All facets of the game working right at the right time.
I would love to know over the years how many teams are in both of those categories.
Maybe a couple Oklahoma programs. There can't be that many.
Fan makes the play on the foul ball. You know, here at Tech Softball Park, you have to return those softballs.
You do.
And you get a free slice of pizza at a local restaurant if you do.
That's enough for me to turn in a foul ball.
You and me both. I'm with you. And a beautiful pitch from Grind as she strikes out Mahalis. A little bit different, though, as we take another look. Great pitch from Grind.
You know, I'm so impressed with her rise ball, but that pitch tonight has just been lethal for her. That has been her strikeout pitch of the night.
Here's Riley Lucas. Yeah, that's one difference, and there are many. Baseball and softball. Softball a little bit more expensive than the baseball.
Yes, yes, very much so. Roughly $10 a ball, something like that.
That is expensive. That is in the air to left center. Ritter looking up, and that'll carry.
That ball got out in a hurry for Lucas.
7th home run of the season for the junior from Huntington, West Virginia. The hometown kid puts Marshall within 2 runs.
I love that they just keep fighting back. 2 outs. Riley Lucas just takes one over the part of the plate, a rise ball, carries it with her.
And a big hug at home plate. I mean, the Thundering Herd, Whitney, right in this game here in the top of the 5th.
They are. They just don't go away. Their record may not show it overall, but they have a lot of fight in this team.
To left. And Green in the alley hauls it in for the... We've got ourselves a 2-run game to the home half of the 5th. And a great part in Tech's lineup, 2, 3, and 4 to try and extend its lead.
Yeah, they came up short last inning. You usually don't see an inning where the Hokies don't score. But starting at the top of their lineup, seemingly with their number 2 hitter, be great for them to push at least 1 run across in this inning.
And fouls back as she showed bunt.
We talked about earlier that they do it in all facets, right? You see there's no outs, the infield's playing back. She just hit a home run. What a great opportunity to come back with something like that.
Out in front, Savannah Rice. Green has reached base in all 3 at-bats today. Might be playable. Durnley, the catcher, has enough room. And there's the first out.
It's a big first out for Marshall. Get the 2-hitter, seen the ball well all day long. Can breathe a little bit again.
And you think about this from a 10,000-foot perspective. Thundering Herd lost 5 of 6 coming in. 5th time playing a ranked team, and they are right there as Chatfield takes a strike. RBI single in the first, a walk drawn.
There's certainly no wide eyes on their roster coming in, playing a ranked opponent with a full stadium.
Right to the shortstop, Bickle, who makes the grab out number 2. But yeah, if you're Coach Morgan Zirkle, I mean, some really competitive games as of late, especially Friday, Saturday against Coastal. They've played Arkansas, Arizona twice, Kentucky. And as she tries to build this into her program, I mean, kind of like her as a player, right? Aggressive, fiery from start to finish.
Absolutely. Got your blue-collar kids.
And that is tattooed towards Beamer Way. McMillan with her 2nd home run of the night and her 3rd in 24 hours.
I continue to say it, but every time she swings the bat and the ball goes out, it is just an absolute no-doubter.
It's the Corey McMillan show on this Wednesday night. Another look.
She really has one of the most beautiful swings in college softball right now.
And you've mentioned that, we were talking before the broadcast started. What is it about her swing, Whitney, that is just so pure?
There's something about a lefty swing anyway, but you look at hers and it's almost like a little bit of a Griffey swing. She does not get shorted, short, sweet to the ball, and it just carries.
That's 4 home runs tonight Trinity Martin, Addie Green, and Corey McMillan, not once, but twice. And you think about how neat from a Virginia Tech sports perspective. Tech baseball, Tech softball, they're known for hitting home runs.
The Hammer and Hokies.
That is ripped. Left field and down. Bree Pack with her 9th double of the season.
Is that the first extra base hit that we've seen tonight that has not left the yard?
You are spot on, Whitney Davis Showalter. Best in the biz. That's the first double on either side. No triples. It's just been a lot of home runs.
It has been a lot of home runs. But again, Tech can do it so many different ways. A lot of walks, a lot of singles, obviously the long ball.
And a passed ball allows Ritter to take third. Bickle makes the play, and that ends the inning. Another Corey McMillan from Tech Softball Park. And a pinch hitter, as you see Grind's numbers, no walks, very effective, 43 pitches. Sydney Bright, the pinch hitter for the Thundering Herd. Marshall has had a response at many points today and a good opportunity for the bottom part of the lineup here to try and set the table for the top half.
Absolutely. For Grind on the other side, she really needs to get ahead of this hitter, though. Somebody that's came off the bench at the bottom of the lineup. Don't try to do too much, just come right at her.
Bright, the freshman out of Elkview, West Virginia. And this is just the 4th at-bat of her career. First time she has gotten a chance to hit since March 20th at Kentucky.
Something about big games. Kudos to her coach, though, for putting her in some big situations. This is going to pay off further she gets in her career.
Popped up. Peck makes the grab. And I'm sure to that point for Morgan Zirkle, who still is playing professionally, she remembers what it was like to be in a freshman in that spot. And just unique perspective, I'm sure she has.
A lot of nerves. Gaining that experience against top 25 teams, it's invaluable as a freshman. Who maybe is a role player right now, but is going to be a starter in the future for your program.
Keisha Parks, base hit in the second inning. Right back to Grind off her glove. She can't find it. And Parks slaps her way aboard in the 6th.
Yeah, I think Grind was ready to throw that before she called it.
Now batting number 1.
It's a great opportunity for Marshall to capitalize on that.
Shallow left. That might get down, and it will. And it gets by Green. Parks to third, and Washington to second. And just like that, the bottom part of Marshall's lineup sets the table and brings the tying run to the plate.
That's all it takes. An error, a ball that's lost in the sun, ends up being a single and an error on top of that because you can't control it. Now you've got 2 runners in scoring position for Marshall and the top of their lineup up. You can see Addie Green letting her fielders know, hey, I can't see it.
And now to Ulrich, the best hitter on this Marshall team. Big swing fell. And Ulrich fourth in the Sun Belt. A really good softball conference, hitting .404 on the year.
It's a really nice job with Aldridge behind the plate. That's a pitch that 2 innings ago Lindsey Grind was throwing for a strike.
In front, 2-1. These are the moments I'm sure Ulrich wants to be in for Marshall. Looking for its first win against a ranked opponent this year. In front, 3-1.
It's putting a little bit of pressure on Grind that she hasn't had all night too.
To Grind, checks the runner. Here comes Parks, and she is safe. Back to a 2-run game.
Ulrich did her job. I think Grind maybe could have looked her back a little bit harder. She was down the line further than I maybe would have liked. But in this situation, you're up a few runs. Let's go ahead and get the out.
Still the tying run at the plate, and it's Gerlach. Oh for 2 today. Was hit by a pitch in the second. Started her career at Western Michigan. Good spot there from Grind.
It's a nice pitch to come back with. I think the last few pitches she was trying to do a little too much, especially after a couple errors. Getting runners in scoring position, she just needs to be consistent and do what she's been doing the past 3 innings.
And Grind a strike away in front. Seems like a concerted effort to keep things low here in the zone from Grind.
Sure. She missed with one up and away on Riley Lucas, and she took it yard. She wants to keep the ball in the ballpark, especially when it's the tying run at the plate.
To center. Ritter makes the grab. Deserve to all be shouted out. They are the superstars behind the scenes. They are making this entire broadcast happen. The two of us here in the booth are the only non-students working, as there's a pop-up third base side, and Mahalis drops it. And Martin stays alive. So they work so hard, Whitney, throughout the year. They deserve some recognition and just a tremendous shout-out to our amazing crew tonight.
Absolutely. All the flowers to them.
And here in the game, a 2-run game, bottom 6, and the Hokies swinging early here in counts.
Trinity Martin has already came up big in this game for the Hokies a couple times, especially going yard for them. Probably would like to see them take a few more pitches, go deeper in the count.
Flown into right. And that is caught in the alley by Gerlach.
They were doing that so well early on. We talked about Trinity Martin even last night, an 11 pitch at bat, and then she goes yard. Got to slow things back down, play their game instead of getting into the hype that Marshall just got on with a few errors, scored a run, really slowing it back to their pace.
Popped up. And it's the second baseman, Ulrich. Less than 10 pitches.
Every time that we think that Marshall is maybe out, they come back in this game.
And there's a strike to get things going. 62 pitches, 40 for strikes for the sophomore right-hander.
Efficiency has been key. I think that's something that maybe got a little bit away from her last inning. If she can come back and regroup that, especially in the heart of this order, that's going to be huge for the Hokies to close out this game.
And on both sides, the first at-bat very important here in the top of the 7th.
Sets the tone for the whole inning.
Slow roller. And the throw in time from the shortstop Rose.
That's never an easy play when it's cue balled like that. With all the spin, the English on the ball. It's a great job by the shortstop.
Now batting number 22,
The redshirt senior, Mihalis. Been part of this Marshall program since 2021. Waves through. And what a change up there. Strike 2.
It's a great time to pull out that pitch. Gets her swinging, gets something high. You know, you're not expecting an off speed in that situation. It's great pitch calling.
Into the stands.
Arthur better watch out.
And I believe he just got the ball. How about that?
It is youth night.
And a great crowd on hand. Regular season winding down. There he is. Arthur, one of the best Hokie fans out there.
Love it. He's got his little Grasshoppers uniform on.
Change up and a strikeout for Grind. How about another look? What a great at-bat from the sophomore.
Again, that's been her strikeout pitch all day long. Her bread and butter, and I like it.
Marshall down to its final out. Lucas homered her last time up. On the ground to first. Chatfield ends the game. The 37th win.